Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right, you're super host, because it's our heroes that provide the information that help us grow. They are the builders. And our next hero, he's a serial entrepreneur, founder and former CEO of Stylecaster, which was acquired by SheKnows. Co-founder of Sociocast. Guess who acquired them? AOL. And founding member of Quickie, acquired by Yahoo. You can imagine, he just keeps getting acquired. You want to just be by him. Ari Goldberg, you can connect with him at Barbersurgeons.Guild.com, or of course we'll have it on our website, Eliances.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. That's Eliances.com. Ari, this is amazing. What was it like, though, when you sold one of your companies to a big name, but not once, not twice, 3 times? I can't imagine. And you're so young, you got about 10 to 20 more to go.
I greatly appreciate that. It's nice when a respected outsider has those words to say. I think, what drives us entrepreneurs is, in a good way, it's not always ever enough. We're always kind of pushing ourselves. We're always finding new problems to solve. And, that was just a stepping stone. My job, to be great, you got to be great. You got to put in the work every day, and you got to keep setting new goals. Now it doesn't seem like all that much, but 10 years ago when I was a kid and just kind of had those dreams, I'm quite proud of what we accomplished.
But how do you go about getting those deals done? There's tons of people now that are listening. They may have a startup, maybe mid-size and stuff, and they're thinking about, gee, how do I get acquired by someone stuff? Did they come to you? Did you go to them? How did you kind of put that together?
Good question. So a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of vomiting, a lot of things that you don't want to do. So for all the people listening, and the advice that I give to people that I mentor and friends is, never plan for an acquisition. It's just not something that's in your control. You never control someone else's checkbook. The best thing you can do is keep your head down, build your business the best you can. And also, don't get caught up in the media hype. Don't go after TechCrunch headlines. I think for the first time in recent memory, the world is shifting away from this pump and dump, high valuation VC game, and people are getting back to tried and true business practices, building their business. And, there's a lot of ways to make money other than an acquisition. I honestly probably could have made a lot more money had we not gone the acquisition route in a lot of cases. So build your business, control your cap table, make sure you're putting money in your pocket, your team's pocket, and your early shareholders' pocket first. And if an acquisition comes along the way, that's great. It's a great accomplishment. It's something to be proud of. But there's plenty of people that sell for big numbers that don't make any money. And I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that are out there, want to change the world and make it better, which is our goal first and foremost. But for all that hard work, you deserve to be compensated, and you got to look out for yourself, not just necessarily some investor that threw some money in your business who, may or may not have been part of that building process.
And even before all this, you were vice president of strategy and business development at LRMR Marketing Agency. That's who was started and handles by the management of LeBron James. You work closely with several renowned brands, including Nike, Coca-Cola, who we had the president of Coca-Cola on our show, Microsoft, Wrigley's. I read you've struggled even throughout your career with being captive to an employer and doing your own thing. Describe the benefit of allowing yourself the time to work for an employer and how that has really impacted you in business.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I like to tell people that, when I get a nice compliment, like you said yourself, and they're like, oh, you're such a great entrepreneur. I actually say, no, I'm actually just a really bad employee. And just like everybody else, I still have an electric bill. It seems, especially among my friends who have their own businesses and are entrepreneurs themselves, there's 2 types of people. There's people that can fit in the system and do their job and be part of that. And then there's people that just aren't very good at it. And I'm definitely the latter. And to make a living and to do the things that I wanted to do, entrepreneurship was the route that I chose. So, I'm very grateful for my early experiences, working with Steve Stout and Jay-Z at Translation, working with Mav and Bron at LRMR, just unbelievable opportunities, especially at that age. But I like the risk and I like the upside of being an entrepreneur. I just personally never understood the idea of somebody, me waking up and building equity for someone else when I could spend that time building equity for myself. Never understood the idea of somebody else being able to dictate to me how much money I could make in a given year. And then I think, also along those lines, on the entrepreneurial point, about acquisitions or raising money or that sort of stuff, it's very important to me that the entrepreneurs out there don't confuse being a business owner and an entrepreneur with being a high-priced employee. Because when you raise a lot of money and you work with top VCs, and you get an employment agreement in place, you might have a fancy title like founder and CEO, but if you don't have control of the board and you're not the majority shareholder and you're not dictating what you take home on an annual basis, you're just a high-priced employee. They can call you whatever they want. So, there's important things to look out for. But yeah, it's an exciting journey, and each person's got to make their own decision. I personally, I love it. I love finding problems. I love solving them. I love building businesses. Actually, I always tell people, I like the business when it's down and dirty, going from 0 to 35. I'm your guy. If it's just a vision and a dream and you got to put the pieces together and build the vision and sell the dream, I love that. But once it's really time to scale, I like to get out of the way. I'm not a Harvard MBA. I don't like playing with spreadsheets. I don't want to be in the office managing people. And it took me 10 years to really figure that out and go through some tough times to answer those questions. And now I'm really happy to be in the position that I'm in. My investment firm, R&MKR, obviously Barbersurgeons Guild is one of our portfolio companies that I'm also a founder of. And that's really what I do is I go out and I look for those businesses that we can build brand and audience around and help them exponentially grow. And thankfully, we're off to a good start with Barbersurgeons Guild.
And I'm going to want to talk to you more about that because you're listening to Eliances Heroes with me, David Kogan, host of the show. You can go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. So make sure you go there. You may be invited to some of our private events. You may even have the opportunity to meet Ari Goldberg live in person, perhaps at one of our experiences. In fact, you could reach Ari Goldberg, who's the founder of several startups that he sold to AOL, SheKnows, and Yahoo, at Barbersurgeonsguild.com. In fact, Ari, tell us about the Barbersurgeons Guild.
Absolutely. About a year and a half ago, I got very interested in the luxury grooming maintenance essential space, really following the $1 billion acquisition by Unilever of Dollar Shave Club. Harry's started doing very well. And I had just a concept around bringing together, I believe there's a big business opportunity right now, right on the fringe of consumer and medical. And through an interesting series of events, was introduced to a very successful entrepreneur and facial plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, Dr. Justin Rome. We kind of hit it off. I shared my vision. He had a similar vision. We became quick friends. And this really became one of the first R&MKR portfolio companies. And really, Justin had a great business practice. It was a medical practice, doing millions of dollars a year in revenue. Was a doctor, not a branding expert, not a digital expert, but wanted to expand his business. We came together. We formed Barbersurgeons Guild as a new business. We raised some money into it. We actually had some really cool ideas around crowdfunding to just kind of mix things up and try some of the new trends out there. I ended up bringing on 100+ investors, including some big name people. The business just had its first month of operations in December, did more than 6 figures in revenue, was profitable. We got our new product line coming out in March. Our website is up, as you mentioned a couple of times. You guys can check that out. Find us on social media at BSG Dispatch. So it's a very exciting business in a very exciting industry.
Well, Ari, there's people listening right now that probably want to acquire you.
Well, they can certainly reach out to us, and maybe you'll be part of those negotiations with us.
That's absolutely, because you never know. I'm telling you, with the track record that you have, people are just waiting for it and stuff.
I was just going to add to that. It's an interesting point, and I like to practice what I preach and not preach what I practice. And I think that's especially as an early stage business with BSG and the other things that I'm investing in. It's really about creating opportunities. Obviously an acquisition, it is a good market, hence why we went into it. We know that P&G, Unilever, L'Oreal are sitting on billions of dollars of capital. We know that men's grooming is growing at a rapid rate. We know there's not a ton of competition in the space. But again, our heads are down, just like I was talking about, trying to build the best possible business. because my vision is that we should be able to create, millions of dollars in revenue, significant EBITDA, and at that point we create options for ourselves. So if we are an acquisition target of one of those businesses, that's great. If we can do a big PE strategic round and do a large capital raise and exponentially scale the business, that's great. But if we just create a big revenue business and have high EBITDA and pay out shareholders dividends, that's great too. So to me, and I think great advice for all the entrepreneurs out there, is really about creating options and options that you can control ideally.
Amazing. We got a little less than a minute left, but tell me about the RNMKR, though, a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, I guess I have the sickness. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I guess that's the politically correct term. I always want to be involved in things. And really, when we sold Stylecaster, it took me about 2 years of kind of soul searching and meetings and trying new things. And thanks to the advice of a very prominent family office, I was guided into this idea that they called Amazon for business. This idea that I had created an algorithm on how to launch early stage businesses, scale them exponentially using brand and audience and some proprietary things that we do. And that ended up becoming RNMKR, which is an investment firm, acts a little bit like a management consulting firm in some place. Basically what I do is I look for businesses 1 to 10 million in revenue, profitable. I like to say these are people that can build and profitably sell a widget, and I can help them sell more widgets. We apply proven business practices multiplied by the scale of the internet. We go in, we build brand, we build audience, we build digital media, social content, Facebook ads, Google ads, the whole kind of algorithm we have in place. We could try and get involved in businesses with great operators, and we're always kind of searching for new opportunities and markets that we like.
Excellent. Well, Ari, you're an expert at building brands and making names. Ari Goldberg, make sure you go to Barbersurgeons.com. This is David Kogan with Eliances. That's ELIANCES.com.